Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Peace fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. God fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does.
All healing energy flows through me now. Harmony, balance, vitality, that glorious wisdom that creates and sustains health is mine. I live in divine well-being now and always.
Yeah. Joy fills every cell in my body. Every cell is alive with love. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does. Joy fills every cell in my body, and I am alive. I relax into the healing process. I allow Spirit to do what it does.
Unity, how can I help you?
Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center's live stream service, where even if things are a little different around here, and believe me, I look out not seeing all your faces, we are all still about our mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. In that regard, if you really want to make a difference in our world, remember this next couple weeks to vote. My name is Alan Bassan, and I am your platform assistant this morning. We want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. I will say it once and then ask you to repeat it with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Everybody. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle: one presence, one power, and one life, living through and as each of us. Today, we will hear from Amber McKenzie, who will be sharing the Sunday message entitled Soul Liftoff, Acknowledging Death as a Sacred Journey. Amber will also be leading the meditation after her talk. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why meditation after the talk? And the answer is really simple. It's because this is 2020 and Nothing is the same as it used to be. And now here's Amber with a little bit of news you can use.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, as Alan has indicated, we are doing things a little bit differently today because guess what? Dr. Jane and Dr. Gary are gone. So we can do whatever we want, basically. And so the order of service is a little bit different, so stay tuned for that. And we would all love, our Sunday service team, a little bit of feedback on what you think of today's service. It would be really helpful for us moving forward. Of course, Dr. Gary and Dr. Jane are with us till December 13th, but then they are sadly retiring. And so we will be taking over that Sunday service starting after December 13th. So we're trying some new things. We're going to mix it up and we're really excited about it. So please stay tuned for that. Okay, news you can use. Well, the first thing I think is, what was it? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, the fall clothing drive. Now, I would ask that you tell your friends and family about this because this is something that is a way for us to earn some extra money for the church. And the clothing drive goes on through this month. So by the end of this month, it's over. I think right now, Lisa just told me that we had 89 bags of clothes, 81 or 89. Either way, we need to get up to 250. So we've got some work to do. So if you or anyone that you know has clothes that they'd like to donate, I know that I personally have tons of kids' clothes that I have to get rid of, and this is how I want to do it because I know that these donations will go to the church. What you're going to want to do is put them in the, as you enter the church, there's just like a lobby area, like a tiny little entry area. That door is always unlocked. You can just put the clothes there, and then Lisa and Linda will be able to get to those when they come in. So please, please, please do that. Also, we have Creating a World That Works for You, and this is Reverend David McClure. He'll be doing this class. It'll be Wednesdays through October 21st. So, or is that beginning October 21st? Either way, please contact Reverend David about that. His email is here. If you have questions, you can always email the church as well. Okay, also, I will be doing an online Q process class, and that will start this Thursday at 3 p.m. So this Thursday, October 22nd, it'll go for 6 Thursdays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And there is still room for people to register. Again, this is shadow work that, every single human could use some shadow work. And this is an amazing process that helps you access what you need most through your own life experiences. So please, if you're interested in that at all, you can register online. And you'll get a workbook, and then we'll do some pre-homework to the Thursday class, and then we'll get going on Thursday. And I really hope that you join us if you're interested. Also, Harriet Jacobson's Celebration of Life, the amazing Harriet Jacobson, will be on October 25th at 3 p.m. Now, you will need to register or make sure that you get a spot. She's very, very popular. People love her, and we really want to make sure that all who want to pay the respects and celebrate her life are able to attend. So if you are interested, please contact Dr. Jane, and she will get you in, okay? And then it will be through Zoom. You'll get a special link, and you'll be able to join that celebration of life. So please, 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 if you are interested, please contact Dr. Jane. Okay. I believe that is all of the news you can use. And so now, what are we doing? Now I don't remember. I think we're doing something. Oh, are we doing a music? Yes, now we're going to do some more music. Here you go. I know, right?
if this is my last song.
I used to think I had to have my own way, could do everything on my own, living my life like a one-woman play, feeling confused and alone. Still I held on tight to the life that I knew, till it wasn't the life I remembered. Finally admitting I hadn't a clue, I opened my arms and surrendered. And I made room for grace. I just stepped aside, opened up a space, watch the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. I want to live without making demands, asking for help when I need it, being happy, just doing the best that I can. When I stumble, I won't be defeated, since I made room for grace. I just stepped aside, opened up a space. Now the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. If I had insisted on all that I wanted, I see I'd have sold myself short. But when I stopped resisting, I got what I needed, so much more, since I made room for grace. I just stepped aside, opened up a space, watch the blessings arrive. I made room for grace. I just stepped aside, opened up a space. Now the blessings arrive every day, since I made room for grace. Since I made room for grace.
I really love the lyrics to those songs. That song, it really resonates with me, especially today. Sunday, a day for grace, a day to connect with God. Every day is a day to connect with God, but for me, Sundays is especially important on this journey. So thank you so much for being here with us at Unity Spiritual Center and our virtual online service. As mentioned earlier, my name is Amber McKenzie, and I will be giving today's message. As I said, Dr. Jane and Dr. Gary are not here this week. And so I'm very honored to be here, and I was guided today to speak about an area of spiritual transformation that has become one of my most powerful and revered teachers, and that is death. I know it's not the most upbeat of topics, and what I've realized in the last several years is that part of my soul's mission here on earth is to shift our mindset around death, because this is something that I have had to do, and it has absolutely changed everything for me. And so, like many of us, I grew up with a lot of fear around death and dying. The patriarchal religion that I grew up in had their own, basically, perverted views and teachings on death that were frankly very scary and dark. And they involved a lot of conjecture around heaven and hell. And as a kid, I felt frightened. I felt scared at the thought of death, not only for myself, but for those I loved, for those around me, my friends and family. Why? Well, we were taught in my church that because many of the people around me, my friends and family, didn't believe the same things that I was supposed to believe that were taught by my religion, that those people were going to go to a fiery hell. And I, on the other hand, was going to go to some wonderful heavenly place. Many religions teach something similar. We learn that death is something to be feared, avoided, resisted, and stopped at all costs, despite the fact that it happens to every single one of us. We're taught to see death as a punishment, karma, failure, weakness, a giving up, while other types of death are random accidents or the fault of illnesses or diseases that should have never happened, and that the ideal deaths are natural and timely. We're oftentimes, especially in this culture, shocked by death, and many of us blame God when someone we love dies. But nothing I heard or learned about death and dying ever made any sense to me. And so I did what many of us do, and I just didn't talk about it. I didn't think about it. I didn't acknowledge it. I just kind of pretended it didn't exist. Until, of course, I had to. As a result of facing death head on through my own losses and life's journey, and also researching it from a spiritual perspective, I have become very well acquainted with this former adversary and have discovered a surprising and unexpected relationship with it. And while I did not welcome, nor did I request, the deep spiritual truths that death has taught me, I have learned to appreciate and welcome these lessons into my life. Where once death felt like an enemy, I now see it as a friend and have come to honor its sacredness. Whether it touches someone who's 100 years old or someone whose life has just begun, each soul is embarking on its own unique human journey, co-created with spirit and with partner souls joining us here on this earth. And so today I wanted to share with you just four, out of the many lessons I have learned from death, and how it has helped me better understand this life as a spiritual being having a human experience. And my hope is that these words and these spiritual truths around death resonate in the hearts and minds of those who need it most, like I once did. So let's start with lesson number 1. We are not our body. We hear this all the time in Unity teachings, that we are not our body. But what does that really mean? Especially for those of us who are facing the end of life. Just by simply being human, most of us equate our existence with our physical body, as well as our personality, our ego, the things we've accumulated, and the stuff we have done in our lives. And therefore, the thinking brain and the ego would have us believe that this is it. What you see is what you get. And that when this physicalness dies, then everything dies along with it. But this simply is not the truth. When my mom was going through her dying process, we were able to have a spirit guide reading for her, which I've mentioned before was definitely not something that she would have ever done under any kind of normal circumstances. But when you're facing your own mortality, nothing is normal. And so she was willing to branch out and try something that scared her, but that she was willing to do. And this session really was divinely guided. And it was the best thing we could have done to help us prepare for her own physical departure. One of the most profound things my mom and I took away from this session was the fact that we are not our body, that she was not her body. I honestly don't think it had occurred to her or to me before that moment. Of course, intellectually, we can perceive this truth and feel its absoluteness in our spirit. But in practice, in everyday life, it's a very hard spiritual truth to integrate into our lives, into our being. The spirit guide said to us, the one thing humans mistakenly believe is that they are the body. She went on to say, the body is like a car, and the soul is the driver of that car. And at some point in every soul's journey, the car is no longer necessary, but the driver continues on. Physical death is simply the driver exiting the car. My mom really loved this analogy. It truly helped her shift her mindset about what was happening to her body versus what was happening to her soul. She was able to visualize her soul being born in that moment rather than her body dying. It shifted everything for her. And for me as well. Lesson number 2. Death is not failure. It is a sacred journey home. As I've mentioned in past talks, the physical death of my mother changed the course of my entire life and became a turning point in my own soul's journey. Death does that to us. And I know this was not by accident, but by divine design. For months prior to my mom's death, I denied the fact that she was dying. My humanness and my ego could not and would not accept this type of reality. I had the underlying belief that I could not manage life without her, and that I needed her more than God did. I was also aware of my fear about what would happen to her. Where would she go? And so I did what many of us do, I just denied it. I pretended she was getting better. I imagined her telling me that she was feeling pretty good, and that meant, oh, well, then she's cured or she's fine. Even though this was not the truth. Eventually, my mom told me that she felt so horrible that she wished that death could take her out of her misery. And this is when I knew I had to surrender to the truth of what was actually happening. What's interesting is that even her medical doctors didn't admit she was dying, despite all the indications to the contrary. They wouldn't admit that her body was shutting down because that would have meant they failed. Which leads to this spiritual truth. Death is not a failure. It is a sacred journey home to spirit, and it is led by the soul. Once I finally acknowledged my mom's condition, I began researching what happens when we die. And I came across a beautiful book that changed the way I view everything around death and dying. The book is called Journey of Souls, Case Studies of Life Between Lives by Dr. Michael Newton. I highly recommend this book to anyone interested in the soul's journey after physical death. Dr. Newton was a renowned doctor and hypnotherapist and self-proclaimed skeptic who accidentally discovered past life regression with his hypnotherapy patients. As a result, he regressed thousands and thousands of people and conducted research on their reported experiences, and he discovered remarkable similarities in all souls' journeys after physical death. His work is very similar to near-death experience research, which I have also studied. And the wisdom I received from this book resonated deeply within me as truth. And it replaced my fear of death with the spiritual truth of the soul. And it created a sense of relief that my mom was going to be okay. More than okay, my mom was simply completing her soul's journey here on earth and would now be continuing on in her spirit form. It was also a relief to know that she was going to be greeted by her own guides and loved ones who had passed on. And I imagined her being reunited with her older brother, Bobby, who she was very close to and who died in the Vietnam War, as well as with her own mom and dad. I even imagined my own soul energy greeting her on the other side. According to the Journey of Souls book, every soul that incarnates into a body here on earth has a divine plan that is co-created with God and with those in our soul family that we join here on earth. Each of us forgets this plan once we are born, but it's still in motion, and our soul and our guides are always there to help remind us, sometimes gently and sometimes not so gently. And of course, we all have free will. And the ways we fulfill our soul's mission, or not, varies from human to human and soul to soul. My biggest takeaway from this book, and from this profound new understanding of our soul's divine plan, was that my mom was only supposed to be here for 68 years. And I was only supposed to have her physical presence in my life for 41. And while her divine earthly mission ended with the death of her physical body, her soul, like all of our souls, continues on as spirit energy, doing her soul work from the other side and visiting me when I need it most. Meanwhile, my work continues here on earth, and her physical death was all part of this grand design that we co-created together. Which leads to lesson number 4. Death is hardest on those of us left behind. And as such, it is a powerful catalyst for our own spiritual growth and development. Now, please don't get me wrong. While I appreciate the sacredness of death and the necessity of it, and the completion of our soul's mission here on earth, I still find it to be one of the hardest things we humans have to experience and endure. Regardless of the fact that our soul continues on forever, losing the physical person we know and love is heartbreaking work and can be very, very, very painful. As such, it creates the most transformational spiritual growth our soul can experience in this lifetime. And I believe that is not by accident, but by divine creation. During our session with the spirit guide, prior to my mom's health declining even more, my mom asked the guide with nervousness when she was going to die. The guide seemed perplexed by this question, and then what she did, once she understood what my mom was saying, was she rephrased it by saying, "Oh, you mean liftoff." She had a very positive tone of voice when she said this. And my mom and I looked at each other like, well, no, that's not actually what we meant. But we liked the sound of it. It was the first time we had heard anything like it. As I've discussed in previous talks, my mom felt a lot of fear around the dying process and what it was going to be like. The guide reassured her and went on to explain that the death of the physical body is like a butterfly releasing from her cocoon. There is a lot of agitation and friction necessary for the cocoon to break apart and release the butterfly. It is a sacred process. The same is true for the body. For those souls that experience illness and have time to process the death of their physical body, the final weeks, days, and sometimes months of life can feel very agitating and difficult. But when the soul is ready to release from the body and the ego, liftoff occurs. And from what I understand, It is a magnificent flight, back to God, back to light, back to unconditional love, back home. Almost 2 years ago exactly to this day, I took a trip to Victoria, British Columbia to visit my best friend, and I had a short layover in Seattle. And as I was deplaning, I was hit hard with the smell of my grandma Inez. Now, my grandma is from Finland, and her home, her clothes, and even her baking always had a very unique smell. And everyone in my family recognized this smell. And up until this point, I had only encountered this smell around her. So to be walking down a tarmac in Seattle, out of the blue, and to be suddenly hit with this strong aroma felt super, shocking. And I was instantly overwhelmed with emotion. I started crying, thinking about her. She was 97 years old at the time and had been in full-time nursing home care for at least a year. The last time I saw her, she didn't recognize me or my kids, and she seemed nervous around us and unsure why we were there. As I walked into the main terminal to my next gate, her smell was still with me. And I actually remember looking around at everyone, walking by and thinking, is everyone smelling my grandma right now? I actually texted my dad and told him what was happening, and I asked how she was doing. And at that exact moment, my dad called me. I answered the phone in tears and blurted out what was happening, and that I was thinking about her and wanted her to know how much I loved her. My dad sounded a little confused and asked some questions and wanted to make sure I was okay. Finally, after a very long pause, he said, "Amber, your grandma Inez passed away this morning." It was in that very moment of shock and sadness that I realized my grandma was right there with me, and my dad, in her true, full, eternal life expression. She was letting me know that she was more alive in that moment than she had been in the last several years. It's as if she was saying to me, "Hey, Amber, here I am. I love you, and all is well." This experience reminded me of the following quote from Journey of Souls. Dying people are undergoing a metamorphosis of separation by their souls from an adopted body. People associate death as losing our life force, when actually the opposite is true. Oops, I wonder why that went to that one. This is what I wanted, sorry. I'm going to start it again. Dying people are undergoing a metamorphosis of separation by their souls from an adopted body. People associate the death as losing our life force, when actually the opposite is true. We forfeit our body in death, but our eternal life energy unites with the force of a divine oversoul. Death is not darkness, but light. I think I missed one. Yeah, no, I got that one. Death is hardest, okay. So in summary, death is a necessary part of this physical life. There we go. Death is a necessary part of this physical life and is a sacred passage in every soul's physical journey. Death is also a powerful reminder that we are not our body, we are not our ego, we are not our personality. We are our soul. Death is not failure or weakness or punishment, but a sacred journey home when our soul's mission on earth is complete. Our soul has a divine plan that is co-created with spirit and with the souls of our loved ones. Death is hardest on those of us left behind, but it is a powerful catalyst for our own spiritual transformation, growth, and our soul's mission. I want to end my talk with a beautiful song that I've dedicated to a very dear and loved family member who is currently in hospice care, and to anyone who resonates with this music, this song, these lyrics, by Daniel Namad. It gets to the heart of our sacred time here on earth, and what it is we are here to bring more of. More light, more love, more kindness, more understanding, and more of our own true, unique, eternal soul essence. This is what we bring to the world. I honor each and every one of you and your soul's journey. And I thank you so much for being here now. And so it is. Thank you.
If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time?
Now is a time for our meditation. A time to connect to that deeper source of light within. Time to connect to our higher self, our soul. Do we do this through the breath? So I encourage you now to be mindful of your breathing. As you breathe in and out, notice your breath. Feel it as it enters through your nose, as it circulates through your lungs, through your body, through your heart. Notice it as you exhale. Allow it to connect you to this moment, to this time, to this place. Breathe in and out. You can feel your back on your chair. Notice your physical body. Notice your hands, where they are placed in your lap, in your sides. Notice your feet. Are they touching the ground? Notice the feeling in your fingertips and your toes, in your back. Take a moment to appreciate this vehicle, your body. This perfect body designed just for you. Just perfectly for your soul to express itself. Take a moment to appreciate your body while acknowledging that you exist far beyond this physical being. You exist as your soul, expressing itself through this body. Acknowledge that at some point in your journey, your work will be done here, but your soul will continue on. Let us breathe this truth in through our heart space. In through our heart, which is where our soul resides. The heart is a magnificent organ where the soul plugs in and connects us to spirit. We hear this voice of the soul in the silence when we take the time to connect. And so now, through your heart, through this breathing, want you to bring into your mind's eye someone or something you deeply appreciate. Perhaps this is a loved one who has passed on. Perhaps this is a pet who has passed on. Pets also have souls that are with us. I want you to bring this person or this pet into your heart. I want you to bring in this feeling of gratitude for this being, knowing that they are an integral part of your soul's journey, and feeling their presence with you now. Allow this feeling of appreciation to fill your heart and to fill your body. Imagine it being amplified. Imagine it filling this room. City, the entire state. Imagine this intense feeling of love and appreciation blanketing the entire world. Radiating out with the power of all the souls that are connected. Imagining it radiating out into the entire universe. Raising the vibration of our planet. And every soul on it. Together with the souls of our loved ones, we are creating a field of coherence so powerful, nothing can penetrate it. Let us take this feeling and this knowing that nothing that is real ever dies. Let us take this deeper into the silence. Sweet, loving, divine Spirit, we give thanks for the truth. We give thanks for this knowing that we all are divine beings of eternal light, here to express our soul's essence And so we say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is.
Thank you, Amber, for that powerful and much needed message today. I loved your analogy of death being a liftoff of sorts. It just creates such a powerful vision in my mind. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not ready to book my flight yet, but it's pretty cool. Not yet. Not yet, no. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power and one presence and one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your journey of transformation, we thank you for joining us here this morning. We would like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please submit your request through our online form. Simply go to unityspokane.org and click on the Contact Us button, and then click on Prayer Request button on that particular page, and you will be taken to a form that you can complete and submit. Our inspiring team of chaplains will hold you and your loved ones in prayer here for 7 days, and then your requests are sent on to Silent Unity, where they will be prayed upon for another 30 days. Now it is time to celebrate our abundance together as we share our tithes and love offerings via the online donation or through direct deposit or on our Tithely app. Your giving means so much to the vitality of our ministry, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees and Unity Spiritual Center Spokane, we thank you. I invite you now to hold the energy of your offering in your heart as we say together our prosperity blessing. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Now remember, right after the service today, to join us for the Zoom meet and greet. Let us now join together for our closing prayer of protection. Together we affirm, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth. Go out and have a great week, everybody.
Things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light.
things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light, yeah. I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age, I am not my race. My soul inside is all light, all light, all light, yeah, all light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light, yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
My name is Scott Harrison.